Okay, guys, thanks so much for coming on anyway. So, I'm like really interested in the Liverpool food and drink scene. You guys have been a part of it for years. How did it all come about?
Well, we've both got our own individual story on that, so I suppose I've started talking, so I'll go first. So I've been a bartender 19 years-ish, and I think back then when I first started, the only real venue that had any kind of real good service criteria for guests was the living room, which was on Victoria Street. And I'm just going in there after I'd been bartending for about a year and a bit, and I was blown away about how good the people were in there. Like, they were just on it, and I was just like, how do I get a piece of this action? And then that was it, really. I ended up getting scouted by a guy called, I think his name was Fabio, or some Italian guy, and he scouted me when I was working in Modo. He's like, "Oh, you're brilliant. You should come work for me." And I was like, "Oh, where do you work?" And he was like, "I work for the living room." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And then my ears pricked up, and I was like, "Oh, right, yeah, I'll come meet you." And next thing I know, it got an interview, start date, and that was it really. After that, and then obviously the drink scene in Liverpool alone has evolved massively. I think the food scene still got a lot to develop.
Yeah.
The drink scene just went.
It was quite when Salt Dogs and Santa's first came on the scene. Liverpool, other than those, it was quite samey, wasn't it? I remember it was all about booths and like who's going to get a booth, who's going to get a table.
We were the first independent cocktail bar. Right, the first cocktail bar opened up that wasn't attached to a restaurant. Or
Santa's was this?
Yeah, Santa's, yeah. It wasn't attached to a restaurant. It wasn't owned by people who had like money or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just two lads who were just like, fuck, I'm not working for anyone else. I want to do my own thing and all that. I'm sick of people telling me what to do.
I think that leads that, like, from what you were saying, in it, because we were working together at the time, and we opened somewhere in Formby.
Yeah.
And we were working, I think I worked like 110 hours 1 week.
Jeez.
You worked the same, and it was more like you were, people say to you, like you're working with people who just have absolutely no idea about anything.
Yeah.
So these guys were like, I don't know, is he a builder or something, or?
Who, Joe?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think Joe had the pub, didn't he? And then he got into like a different sector. Joe, we were talking about before, he went to a different sector. So we had a pub or pubs, and then he'd got into like a different sector. So we opened up a place in Alton Road, which was like a restaurant, which was seemingly doing okay. Now knowing the figures it was doing back then, looking at how it made any money beyond me, must have made any money. And then he decided to open this place in Formby, for which we were both working in at the time. And you just look at it and go, he was just out of his depth really, because knowing what the venue cost and how it was going to make money, one of them, it's like, doesn't add up somewhere.
I think the hospitality industry is known for, you can work a lot for not much return. And I think that's definitely, like, I came from like big hotel chain backgrounds and stuff like that, working, where you're on a sort of a small annual salary and you're getting hit with like 80, 90 hours and you don't get any reward for it. That's something that, I know that happened to you in that job. I was hourly when that got happened, but it's known. It's still known now. And that's something that we've tried not to do, but I think that really got us thinking that, well, why would you carry on doing this? And like you say, Liverpool was very behind, especially Manchester, and I think Leeds as well at the time, on the drinking scene, independent wise.
Yeah, well, Leeds had the mojo, didn't it?
Yeah.
As well. That's why I went to university. I went to university.
Oh, did you?
Leeds, nice.
You two went to school together?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've been mates since back in the day, and then just went into a similar trade at the same time, or?
Did you just happen to work in that place in Formby together then?
We worked together a couple of years previous. Okay. And they looked at somewhere on Lark Lane.
Yeah.
But at the time, it just wasn't the right time, and I was working over there in Malmaison at the time. John reapproached. Yeah, and
I was doing consultancy for someone, and it was a fucking nightmare. It was like, this guy had bought this place, and he had a sound issue where it's like he couldn't really play music, and then about the neighbours complaining, and he'd spent 750 grand, as far as I've known, on like this venue, and it had plateaued at making like 14, 15, 16 grand a week. And it was just like, obviously you can't sustain only taking that amount of money and not be able to play music at the same time. And an opportunity came for him to get rid of my wage. Like, he had this complaint of a member of staff, but about him. And I was like, I went, look, I'll take the fall for you, just blame me. And then, you know, and I'll leave. And he was like, you know, two birds, one stone. You get rid of 20 grand a year off your P&L. And, you know, you can just blame me and hopefully that'll make it go away. And he was like, oh yeah, and I was like, okay, great. Walked out of that venue with the weight of the world off my shoulders, and I was like, fucking hell, wow. I felt like a free man. Yeah. I was walking down the road. What was it, Fleet Street, that is, isn't it? Fleet Street. Got to the bottom of Fleet Street, do a left. Literally wandering aimlessly. I think I was looking for a taxi. See this sign above 41 Slater Street, to let. And I was like, oh my God, look at that place. So before I even rang the agent, I rang him. I was like, Matt, I've just quit my job. And then like I've just walked down the road and I've seen like this to let sign. He's like, give him a call. I went, I will. And I just was Sutton Kersh I was up with, and just rang Sutton and Kersh, and I think the agent was called Dan. And next thing I know, we were down there looking at it, put an offer in, and I was accepted. And then that was it.
Wow. Done me over on a promotion there, and that was it. I was like, see you later. So that's how it came about originally.
And then,
sorry, had you discussed doing something together before? Is that why
the thing on Lark Lane, which we actually weighed up doing a site on Lark Lane. I don't know what it is now, but we looked at it and was like, yeah, you could do this on the cheap. Like
it's a flotation place, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a float tank place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's ahead of your time, like.
Yeah, it was.
Popped up in town.
Yeah. All the rage.
They're good. Have you used it? They're good, you know.
They're good. They're actually really good, aren't they?
Yeah. I just couldn't do it. It's like, I just think if anyone's that relaxed, well, like they knock one off in there, and then like as I'm in clean, he's just floating around someone's jizz.
Probably people actually people might pay for that as well. Who knows? It's
strange. Oh yeah, no, that's defo someone's bag there.
Get that wooden dildo that you found at the back of Slim's.
Yeah. I'm going to find that. You have to go back there tomorrow and have a look, see what it is.
I think we're me and my wife go out a lot. We're not in the industry or anything. We just like food and drink. And we used to, you're right, what you said about sort of Manchester. We used to go a lot when we first got together, like say 10 years ago. We'd go to Manchester, have a nice meal, go to a few cocktail bars, stay over. Now, since the likes of yourselves come along, and Bold Street's almost independent street. Bold Street's like our version of the lanes in Brighton, isn't it? In a way, it's the way it's quite independent, or that area is anyway. And we haven't done that for ages now, just because Liverpool's just been, we're so lucky to be living in this time where the food and drink industry here is flying, and there's just so much choice.
Yeah, there is.
You guys are
a good choice, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. Sure. How do you feel about? We were saying off air before. I've noticed. I've been maybe followed somebody on Instagram, like a new restaurant or a pop up.
Yeah.
And I've say we've had like a trip down to London planned, and I've been showing the pictures to my wife and stuff, and then we've gone down. We've had that burger that we were looking at or whatever, or that sort of eggs Benedict belly pork thing, and then you eat it and it just tastes like shit. Because people are making food, I think, in some cases, they're making food to look good now rather than...
Well, they're making food for Instagram.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Instagrammable.
Yeah.
Instagrammable
it's a new
food.
word, isn't it?
And I'm not going to lie, it's definitely been things we've had to discuss in the past, because we've been such a massive platform that you can self-advertise on and promote yourself, that you can't not consider it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, people are just basing a business on it now. They're they're making Instagrammable looking things, put it on Instagram, people go, I want to eat that one particular thing, I want to go and eat that.
Yeah.
And they get there and, okay, even if expectations aren't met, it's like a box ticked, isn't it? It's like, I've done that.
Yeah,
I've achieved that burger, or I've had to queue up and do that thing, and now it's like, I've done it. I think actually, but sometimes in London, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like Bao Bun was one of these things. Bao Bun is good.
Yeah.
Right, but Balbun's a very small place in Soho, the first one. I think it used to be a food store and then went to a restaurant, but the restaurant was very small, and it was very, you queue up, like could be an hour and a half, who knows. Pick was the same, wasn't it? Queue up for Pick as well, and but that food was of a very good quality.
Yeah.
But now I'm like seeing stuff in London where it's, you know, there's a pizzeria out in Stoke Newington. I can't remember what's it called, that one.
Not
I can't
sure.
remember. It's a pizzeria out in Stoke Newington anyway, which is miles away.
So
I think
they got pure
the
queues.
problem you have is that you've got to use it now.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
not use it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like anything, and if you don't evolve, you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah.
But it's has it got substance? What you're putting on there? So obviously we use it, and there's the quality behind it. So it's like your guest journeys doesn't start at the door anymore. It can start. It starts here on the
Yeah,
front.
it definitely does, doesn't
Where
it?
it used to be,
Even I do it.
you know, word of mouth. Oh, have you been in that restaurant yet? And you
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know much
definitely.
about it till you get down there, or you've read a review in the paper.
Yeah.
Now you've already made your mind up. Now some of them are built on Instagram. I'm not going to say who they are, but they're built on Instagram. That, you know, you look at them and go 700 likes. Oh, well, must be good. Going down there, probably mediocre, some of them, but they use the power of the media is already ahead of, you know, it's already made your mind up. It's all psychology before the product. So it's very difficult because you've got to get involved but not be sort of, you know, part of that.
Not
you know what I mean?
not lower your quality of how it tastes, I guess, to make it look good.
Well, people spend most of the budget on how they take the picture of the food rather than what's actually in the food.
I think some places there, I mean, if you look at like some of the big time places in America, that you look at their social media and they haven't got as big a following as you think. You know what I mean? I think Alinea Group, which owns the Avery Bar, and
New York.
Pardon?
Is that New York?
Well, there's an Avery in New York, but the main Avery was in Chicago. Is in Chicago,
Okay.
and they own a restaurant called Alinea, and it's a chef called Grant Achatz, I think how you pronounce his name. And I remember the first time I went there, social media a few years ago, and they didn't have like this big, like massive following for the Avery. And this Avery bar is like sick stuff they're doing. Just like I see their videos and I'm like, wow.
Thing is with them, they'll still be in the right press. Do you know what I mean? So they'll still be in where they need to be in that sort of that review that has to, you know, that Jay Rayner review or whatever. They'll still have them. So they can, if they're good like that, you're gonna get away with it. It's kind of like everything in the middle, I think.
There's things as well. It's Netflix as well. Like I watch a lot of, you know, Andy Bourdain, David Chang and stuff, and like you said before, John, you know, people are. I went to Vietnam for my honeymoon last year, and we were going to places where Anthony Bourdain had at. We weren't like eating the food because we thought the taste is nice, and then we'd speak to, it was a lot of American tourists there, and they were doing the same. They've gone there to eat exactly what he's at in the exact same restaurant, and it's become like this. You know, chefs are rock stars now, aren't they?
I've done the exact same thing to do with like, but within my field of expertise. So smokehouses.
Yeah.
Like, so I've been to like Aaron Franklin's in Austin, and I had to queue up. I've been 3 times, right?
Yeah.
I had to queue up each time like 3-4 hours, and yet you get to the end of the queue and you have the food and you go, it's okay. It's great. Was it worth queuing up for hours for? Fucking definitely not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I could have done 1,000,001 other things.
Yeah.
Than queue up for 4 hours. But I've been 3 times just based on the name. First time I went was with our other business partner Nick, and we were just like had to like, you know, obviously the hype, see what the hype was about. You know, we were just did the whole experience. You're in Texas and all that. It's fantastic. And we were like so made up to have actually went at this food and felt quite privileged because obviously it's a bit of a pilgrimage and quite a distance to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then the second time I went with some of my staff, and we were on our way to Mexico, and we'll stop in Texas before we go to see some of the, you know, tequila ears and stuff. And it took all them, and we were all hungover like really badly, and so they absolutely loved it. But by the time third time I went with my missus. We went to see Darren Till fight in Dallas, and we were just like on the way to Dallas, and I went, "Do you want to go to Austin, see what you think of it?"
Yeah.
And she loved Austin, but I made her queue up for 4 hours for this food, and she was like, not impressed. Like, she was like, "You've made better smoked meat than that."
Because you were like a little fanboy, getting all excited.
Yeah, I was. I did say to her, like, you know, it'll be great, but I reckon you're going to moan at me. And she was like, well, you go on about this place so much, you might as well go. And I was like, yeah. And then just like, oh, I've bigged this up far too much, haven't I? And she was like, I'm going. So we're on all day. You made me queue up for 4 hours. And I was like,
So was that place the inspiration for Slim's pork chop then?
Kind of. I think
one of them.
It's one of them. At the time, I think you had Man v Food and you had Guy Fieri.
Man v Food.
All talking the big game, weren't they?
Diners driving dives or something, is it?
Yeah, Flavor Town guy.
Flavor Town.
Yeah, he's funny, isn't he?
Diners driving.
So anyway, you see that stuff, and I've been to not loads, but I've been to a fair few of them restaurants that you see on them shows, because I was like, I need to see if this is real or not. You know what I mean? And I've found out a lot of them shows it's one dish that they go there for. And sometimes, it's not what the restaurant's known for or whatever. It's just that it's TVable. It's on TV. Just like it can be Instagrammable. And then you go there and you're like, oh, that's a bit moody, innit? So yeah, I mean, another restaurant was called Salt Lick that we had seen quite a lot of on the internet, because we hadn't actually been there. You know what I mean? You just see it on the internet and you're looking at it going like, that food looks amazing. Do you know what I mean? And then after you seeing it, I think the first thing to cross the pond was a smokehouse called Bodine's. Yeah. Right? Which is still going, I think. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Still one. Anyway, there's one in Soho, and every time we go to London back in the day, we'd like go to Bodine's and like just get ribs and fries and be like, oh, this is amazing. I mean, I wouldn't go there now because the culinary art of smoking's moved on quite considerable. Yeah. And by the time we opened our first restaurant, PICU had opened up, and PICU's like, I think one of the guys from Hawksmoor was involved in it, and a few other guys. Okay. But like they had a book at the same time they opened the restaurant, and the book was so educational in smoked food, and we were just like, when we went down there for the first time, we were like, this is amazing. This is like, this food it's out there, it's brilliant. They did like the smoked sausage patty bun. So like they'd make like a big sausage, like a big fat thing, and then slice it up real nice, and then pan fry and put it on a bun. And it was just at the time, no one else was doing anything like that. No one else was doing anything like that in the UK. And you taste that and you're like, right, this is it. We need to do something like this. And then you open up a restaurant like that and you go, fuck me, this is hard. Wow, this is fucking difficult. How much money you must spend on labour and smoking meat and
them roast dinners in Slim's though, mate.
Yeah, they were white.
Legendary.
I think it was big, it's a lot of food, isn't it?
It won a food porn award that after we shut.
Oh yeah,
after you shut.
After we shut,
for how your food looks in a photograph.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah,
there's the Toby jokes as well.
Yeah, so we were on it, and that came from that roast originally came from because we were making brisket and we were making beer can chickens. Yeah, we were like, because we're British, we're like, what do these two things lend themselves to? Oh, a roast dinner. And then we did our first Sunday doing it, and we were like, wow, we've just taken more money than we did on a Saturday. We were like, wow, we missed a trick here, haven't we? So then we started the roast dinner. And funny enough, it's that roast dinner is the reason why we're reopening Slim's, because we always knew how like small our restaurant was at the time. And we were like, right, there's a problem here. We can't fit enough covers on a Saturday and Sunday, which is when most restaurants make a lot of their dough. And even on a Friday night, you'd get full. We were like, so at some stage, this restaurant's going to have to move. And then we thought we'll close at some stage and move locations. And the opportunity came to close. Yeah. Right, we looked at it and thought like, well, we had found an opportunity to wind the company up. Yeah. And we went, right, we'll do that. And then what we'll do is all the knowledge that we've learned from this at some stage we'll use to open a restaurant of a similar kind of calibre but in a different space, and all them lessons that we had learned from that cuisine we'll just put into this new concept. So we literally the day we closed the door, we owned Bowl Street Coffee, so we were like over in Bowl Street Coffee getting a cup of tea or something, and we're like, is Love Thy Neighbour, like looking out the window going, is Love Thy Neighbour closing down? Yeah. And we were like, oh man, really? So it was like that. As like he's looking out the window talking, and I've got the phone out ringing the landlady of the venue. I'm like, it's John. And she was like, yes, what can I do you for? I went, well, we've just closed Slim's Porto Express down. And she was like, of course. And I was like, just realised Love Thy Neighbour's on its way out. And she was like, suppose you want to sit down and a meeting then, do you? And I was like, yeah. And then that's well underway now. And,
Yes.
we've changed the name to Slims on its own because the concept is different. But it's going to sell all like some of the classics that you had from Pork
Amazing.
Chop, like the roast.
Yeah, it's
the low
not
pound.
Slim's Pork Chop Express.
It's not Slim's Pork Chop.
Let's just put that out there.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I always used to call it Slim's Pork Shack, and I could never remember the emblem.
Oh,
So,
Slim Chops. Got
Slim
Chops.
I think it was a difference every time I mentioned going.
Yeah, Salt Chop Slims. You know, whatever.
Slim Dogs.
Yeah, Slim Dogs. Whatever you could call it wrong. You know, a Scouser is definitely going to call it wrong. Like Santa's. No one ever says Santa's Chapitos. Right? No one ever said or Chapitos. It was Chapitos, or it'd be, you know,
Choritos.
Yeah, Chapitos.
The tendency of Scousers, though, to shorten things is so much so that sometimes the thing that they shorten it to is longer.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah.
Add like an extra 2 syllables on the end or something, just to give it their own name.
Oh, it's crazy. Now, we were thinking about like, you know, new names for bars, and like sometimes you think of new names that like people won't be able to abbreviate. Just go right. Just so funny enough, Slims.
Slims.
Can't abbreviate that any further. We were like, there you go, called Slims.
Slim-O's or something. So Slims is reopening. Amazing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be just the restaurant.
It's
so you're going to have a.
Yeah, it's a new concept.
Okay.
It's just
That's good.
it's a new concept.
Yeah.
There's some links, like John was saying, i.e. the dishes.
The
Some of
roasts.
the dishes will come over. But being on Bold Street, one of the big problems of being on Seal Street is that it was a really not a greatest place for footfall or
Yeah.
day trade anyway. So Slim's kind of, we always thought if it was on Bold Street, opens up to a bigger demographic. So being able to take what we've learned into a new concept, obviously there's some similarities,
Yeah.
but we'll bring the best over from that. But it'll open us up to a bigger demographic. The menu will be a lot more structured in the sense of away from like trays and things like that.
You're
So,
still going to have burnt ends.
don't know
Dude.
about that.
Watch this space. So not content, right, with opening one of the most, like, well, certainly from my point of view, anticipated markets
Yeah.
in town, just to complicate things a little bit, because you obviously love a task you do in a restaurant as well.
Oh, I know. Got something else going on as well, man.
And another.
Yeah.
So what was Slim's Pork Chop Express? Yeah. So we sat on this site that we'd spent all this money on doing, and we re-required the lease after we liquidated the company, because technically it's not worth anything to anyone else. So we were like, oh well, we'll just keep hold of it and see what we can do, see where an idea springs to mind. And our other business partner is like, he's always got like these crazy ideas. Like at one point in Slim's Pork Chop Express, he wanted to serve food in VHS cases, right? Because I had like
Because the bill came in DVD
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah,
Didn't
that
it?
was
That-
the
that's
compromise.
Power of
Good, come on.
So he'd go in storage, and I used to work at Blockbuster when I was a kid, and I used to get like loads of really cheap VHS. So in storage unit, there's still like 400 VHS tapes, yeah. So he'd keep on going in there and find it, be like, John, I'm going to bring this back to the venue, and you know I'm going to do it. And I'm like, no, Nick, don't like that. I went, that's a signed copy of The Lost Boys. No, don't. And he'd be like, what do you mean it's? I'm like, you know, and they're telling him like some of the stuff was worth money, and I'd just find it in the venue, and you'd be like, oh, what have you done? So anyway, he got all like these crazy ideas, and he's like, right, why don't we do like an arcade? And I was like, he knows I love arcades, right? He knows I love like going to retro arcade machines and all that. And I was like, oh, now you're just tugging on my heartstrings now, aren't you? And he's like, no, but because we can put it here and there. And he's like, and I'm just like, nah, and I'm going to Mako, and we should make it into a takeaway like that. And he's like going to me, yeah, you know what, I have like a gourmet takeaway because it's so close to all the, you know, your Botans of this world and all that. And then the compromise was that it's going to be a gourmet fried chicken shop at the front, very clean looking,
Nice.
you know, edgy, you know, pretty cool. And then at the back, it's going to be like a speakeasy retro arcade sort of thing.
Brilliant.
Yes.
And I tell you what, you know, when you start looking to buy these machines, you become an expert pretty fast. It's entertaining. It's like some machines are dear, and I was like, I said to Matt and Nick, I said, we're not doing this unless we can find a way of doing these machines properly. Because imagine spending, I think, we'll put it this way, Outrun, right? You know the game Outrun?
Yeah.
I've been following one on eBay recently. I knew that they go for about like two grand or so, yeah. And I messaged the guy and I went, listen, come on, buddy. We both know how much it's going to go for. Mike, can you let me buy it? Take it offline, yeah, and I'll give you actually what you want for it. And he's like, no, it's going to go to auction. And he's like, listen, I want it because I obviously know what I'm buying. Something with the control panel that fits into the PCB board, right, to do with the steering. And he was like, no, it's going to go to auction. So I just let it go in the end, and I was like, I'm not buying it because I need to find a way of doing this like a modern way anyway, because the inside of those machines are so fragile, like to an extent, right?
Yeah.
They're quite robust because they do last a long time, but you'd imagine these machines were made 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see if your PS1 you've still got is still working.
Yeah, doubt it.
You know, you get your PS1 out of the loft or something.
So we're talking like real games where you got the gun and all that, and
So yeah, we
car
bought,
one,
we
maybe?
bought Point Blank recently. I bought Simpsons. That's been purchased. I've got Outrun. It's just that
That's the car.
yeah, Outrun's the car one.
yeah, the car ones,
We were after Chase HQ. I haven't found that yet.
Is Outrun just like in your living room now? Just there?
No, it's in storage.
I'll keep it here. It's all right.
It's in storage. But then we've got like Golden Axe, Wonder Boy. We haven't got Time Crisis yet, but I think we're going to rent that. It's loads. It's a lot of titles. Street Fighter 2, Turbo, I think it's the one with Sagat and Balrog and all that in.
Is that Turbo?
Yeah, it's Turbo.
I don't know why I thought that was in Street Fighter.
The Street Fighter 2, it's got like the mainline characters, but they haven't got like, you can't be the big boss like Sagat and all that, and Vader. Is it Vader?
Sagat, the Thai boxer.
Yeah, Thai boxer.
Isn't he?
The giant guy, the eye patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't know how much I knew about games until I started. And you know what my missus say to you? I've never seen him play a computer game ever. Like, my missus has been together over 5 years. She's never seen me play a computer game. And as soon as she see me get involved in this, she's like, you know, trying to find me cute little gifts, you know, to do with it. So she bought me this at Christmas. Was it a PS1? But it's like a miniature version, like I don't know, like the size of like half a shoebox, and it's got like, you know, 100 games in it. Comes with these joypads and all that, and I'm just like, I was like, you know, I was really happy she bought me it, and someday I will plug it in and use it. But it's like, when am I gonna get time to play that? Not happening. Like
Middle of the night.
As soon as I get home from work, I go to the gym. As soon as I finish the gym, I go home, eat, and then I'm in bed, sleep like a baby. Unlike him, who's got 2 kids and sometimes probably doesn't sleep as well as I do. But
is it different from back in the day going back to when you first opened Santa's? Were you quite hands-on? Were you there all night at first and living it basically?
Had to, yeah. The first 2 or 3 years. We were both worked there for the first 2 or 3 years behind the bar.
Well, you actually worked behind the bar as well. You just
yeah. That's where it came from.
Yeah.
So like, I was a very good bartender back in the day.
Won awards, I believe.
Yeah, I won a fair few. Actually, recently I was at Grey Goose, where they make Grey Goose, and they had like a little cocktail competition, and I won it. And I was competing against our business partner Nick, and he was secretly a bit devoed. So when they came in and announced it that I'd won, he was like just looking at me like, fucker. And I was like, I'm being dead modest and all that, and I wasn't. I was like, okay, go on, you can applaud, yeah. But yeah, so it came from the bartending skills that, you know, people were doing at the time, but didn't have the authority to make their own drinks and bartend their own way. And even Matt knew that, even though Matt wasn't a bartender,
because they were working for someone else, doing someone else's thing. Yeah.
And then as soon as we opened, Matt was like, right, I'm gonna have to learn. So we started learning how to bartend as well, and then that's it.
It's just stuff like I'd never seen a cocktail in a milk bottle before.
Yeah.
And that'll always
$5
remind me of a
shake.
certain time of going out, getting a $5 shake.
Yeah.
Just is it mad how that you've kind of ingrained yourselves in a part of a generation's experience of growing up and going out in Liverpool?
I don't know. I think people say that to you a lot. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people say that about the independent. Oh, that was the first independent in Liverpool that we remember. And I don't know. I think when you're living in something, you don't just get on with it, don't you? And you don't think. But then it's nice to hear. So it's quite, it's quite humbling to hear that a lot of people say that.
Yeah, the amount of people that we know and I've heard of that I've like met in Santa's and then got married and now got kids. That's
cool,
like,
isn't it?
That shit's like nuts. People tell me that, and I'm like, "What? You got married after meeting in Santa's?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You must have been absolutely bevied." And they're like, "Well, you ended up in Bandito till 5 in the morning, and then we went home together." And I'm like, "Don't take it that like." You know what I mean? She must have been.
You've got to dress that story up a little bit more romantic,
just be a bit more like, oh yeah, your mum was the most beautiful thing I ever seen, and it wasn't like, oh, it came to the end of the night in Bandito and I was rotten, and I was like, oh, you'll do. Yeah, because that definitely happens. By the way,
that's happened a lot.
A lot of catfishing out there as well.
Mrs. Dow's best man there. We met her in Santa's.
Is that Kofi?
Kofi,
Yeah.
But it used to be a dairy, you know, San Chipitos. That's one of the first dairies in Liverpool.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So that used to be like the end of town, basically, and it was like fields.
Yeah.
So that used to be.
Well, town was like Concert Square and Slater Street at the time, wasn't it? Well, not even that far down Slater Street, was it? It stopped. Stopped at like Jacaranda, didn't it? Or that? What's that pub on the corner
right there? Around there. Yeah. So that's originally what it was. So
a dairy.
Kind of.
By guys.
Did you know that when you?
Oh yeah, when the library.
When the library and everything. Yeah.
I like that little nod to the past.
Yeah, there was some pictures of it in like the 1850s, and it just looked the same. Then you just seen behind it and was just like grass.
And since then, like historians have told loads of stuff about like the site, like a guy plotted to kill the Prime Minister in like the back room where he lived, like where Santa's like two buildings.
Percival something that. Percival something. Yeah.
I can't remember.
He actually lived in them in where Duke Street Market's going to be. Went down and tried to. I think he actually assassinated the Prime Minister, and then he got hung.
Oh wow!
Something like that. Percival something or other. If you Google it, it's there.
Google it'll be there somewhere.
Have a look, yeah.
So yeah, you just mentioned Duke Street Market. Then that's a fucking headache. Like that's where we just came from. Then
it shouldn't have been open like a fortnight ago.
Should have been open in February.
Oh
god!
Only because I'm like properly trawling the social for it to be like, come on, this weekend.
So was that
next week?
Yeah.
There used to be like an offie there where there was a little window.
Yeah.
And was that a yard through there, was it? Is that what's going to be the market?
It used to be like a shipbuilding thing then, or something.
I don't think it was. I think that was a rumour because the doors are so big. It was like a shipbuilding place, but I don't know about that. But that used to be gates after that, and then it was just used for storage.
Full of pigeon shit and fridges and gunning cars and mad like.
So yeah, he moved next door and then obviously opened up the site.
Yeah.
We got approached by it who were doing it with, and that was it. And it went from there. It actually goes round at the back as well into like back of Henry Street.
Right. Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So it's quite wide.
It's little nooks and crannies, and then it goes. There's a big basement as well, which is mainly back of house for the kitchens.
Right.
And then we've actually negotiated buying next door as well. That'll be a second phase. So the first phase will open, and then.
So I've noticed it's obviously I've been to a few of them, been to the Baltic and stuff, and to Danarama and whatnot. You've got some really nice tiles going on there, some nice staircases. So is this a little bit more upmarket?
Yeah, I'd say it is.
Yeah, they're street food places. You've said there. So
this isn't street food.
No. It's all crockery.
Okay.
So the idea is you'll go up, you'll have a table number, and then the food will get brought to you. So it's kind of a little bit more higher end in the service centre things as well. But everything's on crockery. It's all served properly.
Yeah. I now know why food markets don't do crockery, because we've just spent 30 grand on crockery. And
jeez.
That is like, when he told me, we got all nice plates and all that, and then when he told me the bill, I was like, excuse me? I was like, how much? And then, you look at it and you go like, well, our first bar only cost £33,000 that we opened, and now we're spending 30 odd grand on crockery, and you're like, shit.
I take it though, that's good though. You look at the environment now, all the talk about plastic and stuff, so there's going to be not much waste there, isn't there, in comparison to some of these street food markets and stuff?
Yeah, I think when you look at like some of the other markets like Altrincham, Mackie Mayor in Manchester, what they've done more as like how they are as a sort of community hub and a sort of quality place for people to come and eat and drink for families and bring people together. I think it's more along that ilk that Liverpool doesn't really have that. The Baltic, has its thing, it is what it is, but a lot of people go there to eat, drink. I'd say it's more of a drinking venue.
It's become a nighttime venue now.
Yeah.
So this is more kind of aimed at having a, something that people come to Liverpool, tourists, culinary tourists coming for the weekend, and it's the first thing on the list, and something that the city can be proud of for years to come, and just it is a community food culinary hub that is
it ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're like on TripAdvisor and you see like top 10 restaurants in Liverpool and you see some of the names on there, so like Gary Manning, who owns 60 Oak Street in the Quarter, so he's got a stall called Ginger in our market.
Has he? Yeah.
And we did the food tasting today. I mean, we tasted the food before, but for a fact he's going to smash it. If he can't do it, you know what I mean? You go like, No one fucking can. So like, and it's like, so you've got him as an option to eat there, but then you've got options of things like Vincenzo, who
lovely spot by the way. Isn't it?
So Vinny, he was quite hard to get on board because he's quite protective of his brand, and rightly so. You know what I mean? He's like, you know, I don't want to dilute down what I've been doing or whatever. You know, I just want to I want to be authentic, and I want to be like, you know, this very certain kind of way. Don't want to detract from what I'm currently doing in my restaurant. You're like, well, Vinny, that's why we want you. We want you to come and do that.
Yeah.
So then he signed up, and then, you know, there's been other names that have came on board, and just like it's all like these people that people will look at on TripAdvisor and be like, I want to go to that restaurant, but maybe I haven't got time to go to them all, and now they're all under one roof.
That's what I mean. So exciting.
Finca.
You've got the restaurant, the one on the £1 million menu, the guys who are doing the whole is it Santiago de Compostela?
Yeah, they come with the Camino de Santiago. Yeah, so they're upstairs, the Pilgrim on the mezzanine.
So they're not actually part of the market, they're an actual restaurant within the market.
Within the market. But
got you. So they're like they're a restaurant independently.
Yes.
In the market though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a showstopper upstairs. It's so for the 50 covers. 50 covers.
So is it
a proper restaurant then?
Yeah.
Is it tables in the middle then type of thing? You go in, there's a you get it's table service, and rather than you go up to the individual vendors.
No, you go up to them.
Okay.
So you go up to them, but you'll have a table number, like let's say like Nando's.
Yeah.
Right. So
okay. Yeah.
It's counter service in the sense of that, but then you won't. You know, if you want, we're trying to just sort of the barriers of service in some of these places that you still don't really get follow-ups from it. So you could eat, you don't get a check back and stuff like that. You know, and you could leave unhappy. We're trying to just make it the best that there is in these markets where we are following things up. Maybe if you want a second drink, you don't have to get up. Things like that, which is unheard of in these.
Always. It
might be, logistically, it might be a nightmare, but
I was just thinking that because it's going to be very busy, isn't it?
Well, it's very difficult to go. We can't really do food at the table because if we've got our front of house staff and they're like, oh, have you tried Vinny's Pizza? And then next thing, why do you always keep selling Vinny's Pizza?
Yeah.
So you can't do that. So you've got all this politics as well. You got to deal with.
Yeah, and you got to get the vendors going. Send the next ones over here.
Exactly.
You send 3 to them.
Yeah. I'd do that if it was me.
Yeah, you would do it. You can't get involved in that. So it's find that balance. But I think we were talking in the car. I think you're gonna have to. One of the big things will be keeping how many people we let in there to keep the flow really nice. Because you could just flood it with people and just like people like this, like it's sardines in here. I might get off, and that's not the idea. You know, you want to be able to come in and chill and speak like this. You know what I mean? Have a nice meal, but the demographic it ticks. Because now, you know, probably I don't know if one of us is vegan or vegetarian, and two.
He is in there.
There you go. One of them.
There's always one.
But we had to meet a quota, so we had to.
Yeah, there you go. No, but you'd have to say you could go there. Do you know what I mean? Where there's so much variation in people's diet now, that or how much money's in their pocket. You know what I mean? And all these things add up to why these markets are so popular at the moment, because they just tick so many boxes for people, and it's that style of dining of going out for maybe a 3-course meal is possibly just getting, you know,
special occasion time as well.
Special occasion, birthday type of vibe, where people just want to use the start of the night and things like that. So all these guys are on like long-term contracts as well, so we want them to become part of it as much as us.
Probably,
so it's like you can really kind of relate. You go down there, you know people's name. That's the idea. So
part of the pull, I think I speak to a lot of people about, we go to the Bolton market quite a lot, is that you can get something from there. You can get a bit of chicken, you can go to that place and get some steak, you get a cocktail from over there, you go and get some falafel from there, all in the one meal. You know, it's almost like, you know, the world of Instagram and stuff, everything's instant. Choice comes along with that as well. You know, people don't necessarily want to be tied down to eating 3 courses in the one place.
Well, I totally agree. We went to Lisbon, me and my brother last year, went to Time Out.
Yeah.
We just ended up going back every night. And there's the one in London. I don't think there is there?
No.
Not a Time Out. There's a few different ones.
Well, that's brilliant. Time Out, Lisboa. And so is there, obviously not as big, but are there elements that's in your back of your mind?
We've been to a lot of food markets, that being one of them. We went to the Lisbon Bar Show a couple of years ago, and that was definitely on our list of things to go and check out. And we did, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to actually accomplish this, because this is like, well, it's a massive site for starters, and it's very central, and it's got it's just massive. Like
It's
the budget.
sponsored by Time Out, so,
Yeah.
so
Well,
the
so they've got
budget
that
is
side of
huge.
it from a budget point
Well, I
of
think
view,
it's from the old. It was an old market before that.
I think it was a fish market. Like,
the
yeah, it
fish
was,
next
wasn't
door.
it? Yeah.
It still goes on that.
Yeah.
But that I know that's people go to Lisbon. It's the first thing on people's list. Got to go there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Mad, innit?
Culinary tourism, I think, is one of the biggest things now. People go away for the weekend. It's like I've got to try there. Like you were saying before.
Yeah.
You know, people looking at the Instagram.
Listen, I've done it.
Yeah.
We're going to South America
Everyone does
later this year. Me and my wife, like our last trip before having kids and stuff. Hopefully, and
He thinks he's got like
I'm not joking.
He thinks his sperm is going to go bang. I'm having kids right now, by the way. Don't you?
Hey, listen, I'm not a
The
vegan. But yeah, I've got on Google Maps. I've got like I must have 50 favourites already because I've watched like Somebody Feed Phil, Andy Bourdain, and you know I don't just want to eat pizza. I want to eat that pizza. You know that you know in that restaurant because that's where he's been. And
5 years ago, you couldn't do that. You can do now. You know that where you favourite them all, and then you can just press walk, and then you.
Yeah.
I was thinking because 5 years ago we were looking, and there wasn't an app for that.
Yeah.
And then so they've only done it recently, and now that's what everyone does. Get there before. So I was a bit gutted about that. It's so on the maps you have to. You can put in your favourite places, can't you? Before.
So you have an account with Google.
Yeah.
So and then you have Google Maps and you sign in on your account on Google Maps.
Yeah.
You can like hold down. You know the way you can drop a pin on a map.
Drop a pin, I know
It's like that, but you can press add to favourites. So if you go into like a city, anywhere. If I go into like anywhere I've been now, there'll be shitloads of little hearts all over it.
Right.
And usually it'll be a restaurant of some kind. So soon people will be doing that with Duke Street. I'm sure people have already done it with Slim's Pork Shack.
But
I thought that would have been a good business opportunity a few years ago, and then I seen that they only done it recently. Yeah.
So what when you go out yourselves then with your wives and stuff, are you into like fine dining as well, or are you?
It depends really. It depends what it's for.
Because you guys worked in the bar trades, so is the other guy? I take it he's the chef, Nick.
No, so Nick's another friend from school, but so he's a bartender as well, and he only got involved with Salt Dog Slims.
Right.
So that's like the third venue we opened, and then he's got his own agenda of things he likes to do, and you know what part of the business he likes and whatnot. So he doesn't own everything with us. He owns quite a few things with us, but he's not involved in the market.
Right.
But you know, he's one of these things we always try and include Nick in everything we do. We say to him first, you want to be involved in this, but people have their lives, don't they? You know, you're talking about like your wives and kids and all that. He's just bought a house and stuff, and he was like, you know, I wanted this, and I'm like, well, yeah, you should, because me and Matt already both own houses, so it's like, well, yeah, go and do that and do this and whatnot. But
my background's restaurants as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying before. I had to learn the bartending when we took on Santa's. So that's always been my dream to own my own restaurant. But they just picked up
every
the bar.
dream to have like.
You live in the dream.
No.
You live in the
you don't
dream.
realize what
It's
your
hard,
goals
Gaff,
are, you
like,
know.
It's hard.
I always thought the goal was like open a bar or open a restaurant, and like that isn't the goal. The goal, what you have to is freedom. You have to freedom to make your own choices, to earn your own money, to come into work when you want to.
Yeah.
These are like actually the goals that you strive for, and you just don't realise it at the time.
Yeah.
And now you're there, it's like you now develop new goals, don't you? You want to develop things, you want to be the first to do certain things, or you want to do, I don't know, your agenda could be anything, couldn't it? But it definitely changes each time. Because otherwise I'd have stopped at Santa's and been like, smashed it, it's great, just work here. And
let's sit back and enjoy, and let's go and sit on a yacht, and let's go and get a bed in Ocean Beach and get a selfie with
How much money do you think it is?
Yeah.
You know, with Santa's going off on another tangent, right? I always think, how do you, or can you avoid that Liverpool thing of having a bar that's really cool, and you get really nice people coming to
chance.
it, and it's fun, and then the knobheads start to come.
No chance.
Sorry, no, let me go back. Then the nice looking girls start to come.
Yeah.
Then the knobheads come.
Yeah.
Then it jumps to shot. Then it just goes awful. And then if you're lucky, you come again. I'm thinking sort of Red Door-ish type phenomenon, but it's happened since back in the day, hasn't it?
Look, it's always going to happen.
It feels like Santa's avoided that.
It's happened. I noticed it in
like,
Santa's or what around the time of the Ross Barkley thing. I noticed it. We were in the Merchant, me and my wife, and then we went over the roads, and everyone was like head to toe in Hugo Boss.
It's just
it wasn't what we were used to for that venue.
I had a period, and obviously that resulted in something quite catastrophic really for us to kind of, we had to strip it right the way back, and now it's actually come out the other side. So if you went back there now, you'd be like, oh,
on the weekend, it's
great
nice
vibe,
DJs, great vibe.
So how do you do that? Is that just all about door policy, or did you
lose a lot of money? Yeah.
Lose a lot of money.
But sometimes you
knock away loads of guests.
Yeah.
But I think the door's a big one. If you're not, but it can happen. It can happen where I won't say any name, but if another venue nearby opens that pulls these type of people in, Santa's often can be a little haven for people.
Just from
So
pure
if, like,
football.
so that venue where the kid got murdered, I won't say the names because it's not fair, but we obviously know what we're going about.
Yeah.
You know, when Skies would get knocked back from there, they would go, oh, where do we go now, lads? And they go, oh, there's this little gaff round the corner where, like, you know, it's got a smoking area and whatever else, and you become a little hideout for them, and then they'll go back and try and get in to that bar again later on. And now that bar's closed down, and we've stripped right back and knocking them all back and like reevaluated how we do business. That venue has just moved into a new guise, not owned by the same people, but they'll always find a new venue to go to. You know, for quite some time it was Neighbourhood, then it was Ink, and then it was 53,
Red Door,
and Liberty, and they'll just keep on moving. They all get, you know, binned off from one venue and moved to another.
It was Empire won a couple of years ago until that shut.
It must be good now because it's like it's your baby. It's what you've built up on principles of where you'd want to go for a bevy with your mates, and you see it and you're proud of it, and then I'm sure it's like almost out of your control at that point to an extent.
You're walking into your own gaff, maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and you're thinking, hang on, what's going on here?
I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. It's just more on the case of, you know, I'd just be like, well, this isn't what we set out to do.
Yeah.
It's snowballs and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
So you can't, like, you're a victim of your own success.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the time, probably we had a lot going on, and I wouldn't say we took it all off the ball because we knew what was going on. It's just it's very difficult to stop. And our attitude always was that I don't care if you're a scally or whether you're a posh person from down south or whatever.
Exactly.
If you're well behaved, right, and you're willing to, you know, be in the venue and be a nice person, then you deserve to be here.
Yeah.
But obviously that line was obviously pushed several times over the years, and then it's like, you know, what becomes acceptable is different. I mean, I've literally been in the bar and seeing someone like snort and beak off their hand and just scruff them out by the neck and being like, fuck off, don't ever come here again. Yeah. They're like, oh, what are you going on about, mate? And you're like, how do you think it's acceptable to do that? And then the police will be on your case going, oh, with, you know, not just my case, but like every bar in town about drug use and whatever else, and you're just like, what do you want me to do? Unless you're going to arrest people in the street for having cocaine on them, I don't really know what I can do as best we can. I can't go in and supervise everyone taking a piss. Do you know what I mean? I can't do that. So, and then like that boundary's been pushed. I mean, everyone in this room's seen someone doing gear in town.
Oh, but I feel like now more than ever, it's gone up a next level. Now it's almost people aren't hard. In some place, they're not even bothered about. They're just walking into the gents, and they're just snorting straight away, and they're not bothered if people walk in. You know, back in the day, they'd be like,
that's not a new thing
behind a closed.
That's not a new thing, though.
I think they're just more aware of it now.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I worked on the doors over 10 years ago, and it's you know, it's not a new thing. It's.
Remember I told you, because I'm from West Star. I'm talking about pubs in like just old man pubs.
Yeah.
Where
just getting on it.
I mean, just kids.
I'll have half a lager, mate.
Fellas. And exactly. Yeah, and they might be out with the wife or something. And
one pint on a Wednesday night.
What's going on here?
Do you want a stripe?
Trying to get off the planet on a Wednesday night. It's
already in there.
What you do?
Is it funny? We're talking about this now, yeah. So when we won the Champions League the other day, my missus and her dad were at mine watching the game, and they're like, "Oh, the bars be booming now." And I went, "Never mind the bars. I bet you every big deal in Liverpool now is just the phone's blowing up." And then, you know, everyone's trying to play innocent about it, you know, like laughing and all that. No, seriously, I bet you every drug deal now, just like that, let's get to town. And I'm just like, and, you know, what can the police do about that? Because at the end of the day, there's only so many police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
It's a societal thing then, really, isn't it? And bars and restaurants have just got to fit
even the thing with knives and all that, it's society, you know, has an issue. It's not the bars or the police have got an issue, right? It's society's got an issue. So how would you cure that? No idea.
You've been through that thing as well. That you know, if you're a small sort of independent bar owner, you must dread that day that something happens near your venue.
Oh, it's happened loads of times near our venue. It's happened in our
and
venue
you've had
as
things
well.
in your venue.
And it's one of these things you go, oh, for fuck's sake. And then you just go, first thing is like, is everyone okay? There was the kid that the policeman died, remember that? And that guy had been chinned outside Aloha.
Aloha, yeah.
Well, the kids, they were in our venue prior to that, behaving themselves as well, by the way, right? Because we had the CCTV looked at them. They're just 3 normal looking lads, and you wouldn't have pegged them down for murderers or people that were going to be involved in an incident like that. How can you predict that? There's nothing you can do.
No.
And then when you hear it and you're like, oh man, it's bad that. And then you hear your mate who owns Aloha, right? He's now closed for 2 nights at Christmas. You know what I mean? Ooh. You're like, how badly that going to affect him? And you're just like, affects everyone. Violence in city centre affects everyone.
Yeah.
Right? Every bar that is then on toes going, I've got to not let these kind of people in. I've got to do, I've got to up my security, which security's dear. You know what I mean? And it just starts really hitting everyone hard, and then you're looking at it going like, this is not an easy gig anymore. Do you know what I mean? To do, it's not like you can just turn up and sell drinks. You've got to literally worry about every single little angle. If incidents happen, like what we're speaking about, something happened on the weekend. A kid died on Bold Street, not Bold Street, Seal Street, and I rang up my business partner Nick the next day and was like, "Hey, did that affect you badly? And the staff okay and all that?" And I didn't have a clue it happened, because it's becoming common practice now that incidents happen. Now I don't know if the kid died on the spot.
I think.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor bastard. Bad that. But things happen like that, and 10 years ago it would have been like,
the main story.
It'd been a main story, and it'd probably been on the BBC News or whatever like that. And I don't reckon that's probably made it onto anything.
The Echo reports on it, but I don't think nationally it made much of a
the problem is,
and
that's the problem with some things becoming more and more common. They start off on the front page, they get further and further in, they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they become almost irrelevant.
If it was a white kid though, and it was in London, I guarantee that they've been on the news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is disgusting, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah. It's the one that was quite high profile outside Empire a couple of years ago or last year. It's the problem is when these young lads, they're putting the knife in the pocket in the first place. That's the problem. A lot of them, when they put that in their pockets, if they're in the house or whatever, or that lad apparently was in some apartment just outside town.
Yeah.
The picture house, and the knife was from there. Knife was from that drawer.
Oh, right.
The problem is them putting it in the pocket in the first place. I don't think they have the intention to go out and shiv someone. But what happens is, down the line, when they've had a few bevies, they've had a stripe, it's an equaliser, and they just pull it out when they're not necessarily thinking straight.
I think
it's just like once you raise your fist, you took the law into yourself as well, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? Well, you probably haven't gone out. No one's going. I don't think anyone's going out to murder anyone, are they?
No, absolutely.
But that's the tragic thing about it. It's just a waste of life.
Yeah,
I quite naive.
Completely.
Do
you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I quite naively think though the ones that carry knives are probably the ones that have fear of protecting themselves, and maybe because they don't want to get hurt. I don't want to hit or whatever it is. Maybe they've got a fear of being punched in the face or being made a show of in front of people, and I think it's like a power thing. I've got that on me, so if it goes off, you know what I mean. I can do something about it. So, but
demonising a bar though on a front page and making them shut isn't necessarily solving the problem. It might solve it because it might have become a bit of a hangout for scallies on a Sunday night or whatever, or grafters. But it's a societal problem.
What else can they do? What else can the police do? If they start sticking, I've suggested things to them in the past, and they did it. It's like you're just gonna move to someone else.
Have you had sit-down meetings with them then and discussed these things? Yeah,
proper meetings with discussing how the police are asking me how I'm gonna combat this issue. I'm like, what do you mean me? And I'm like, what can? I'll help. You know what I mean? And then I go to all these licensing meetings. Like we have a community licensing meeting. I think they happen every month, and you go there and everyone's got the same problems, everyone's got the same issues. We're all talking about what we can do about it, but the police can only do so much, and unless they do something drastic like literally stop and search every single person on Seal Street in Concert Square on a Saturday night, but then if that happened, they either just wouldn't go there and find somewhere else to go, or they just wouldn't go out. So who wins there? I think it's a systemic problem. I think a kid hears that some kid in London's been stabbed. It's and then you hear another story about someone being stabbed, and then it's it might happen hundreds of miles away, but they think, oh, young people are out carrying knives. And, you know, it's actually an advert. In my mind, I think it's an advert to go, oh, if everyone's got a knife, I need one too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
Well, yeah, I suppose you look at the acid attacks a couple of years ago. There was one or two, and then there was loads, wasn't there, in a very short space of time, in a very concentrated area in London, actually, as well, around Hackney and Dalston and stuff.
You buy in the shop, couldn't you?
Yeah.
What is it though?
Yeah, don't know. But and you'd easily bought it. I think it's changed now. You can just walk in and buy it from...
That one you're talking about in Dalston, yeah. There's one happened in Dalston. We actually had a pop-up, like, literally 5 minutes away from there. And it was, like, the most docile part of London ever. In a place called Stoke Newington. And I was just like, not would ever go on there. But then, like, you know, 5 minutes down the road in Dalston, people are open to, like, 5 in the morning in, like, these really weird clubs. Like, you go past these doors.
Yeah.
That's not a club.
Just a doorway.
And it's the doorway, and it's like, oh no, mate, it goes off in there till like 6 in the morning. Like, ow.
So is that Bandito you're open down south?
Yeah.
And you've got a bit of an obsession with tequila, haven't you? Is that where Bandito?
Not an obsession. Just one of these things. I mean, it's, you know, I think when we opened our first bar, rum was big, and I had a big rum collection.
Yeah.
And our bar was focusing on rum cocktails and rum. And
Santa's was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
Right. And what happened was, when you become self-sufficient fun-wise, you have the opportunity to then, like, buy things, and the worst case scenario, it goes on the shelf and you sell it. So me and Matt were like, oh, we'll go and get this bourbon or this rum or this whatever, yeah. And mezcal was the one at the time. We were getting mezcals, and we were like, oh, that's amazing. But it's £70 a bottle. And you're like, oh, I'd stick it on the shelf, we'll sell it and make our money back or whatever. And I think what that happened, and we had that many different tequilas and mezcals that we'd been trying, that our eyes were open. We were like, this is a genuinely honest product compared to some other products like gins and rums. By the way, just this whole gin obsession, do you know most gins that you get is just flavoured vodka?
Really?
Right.
What's this?
They buy neutral grain spirit, right? Most gin distilleries, right, buy neutral grain spirit, which is vodka, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then to make it gin, it has to be the underlying flavour of juniper, right?
Yeah. Isn't it 3? I did one of them things in the Liverpool gin where you make your own, and they said juniper, and is it just 2 ingredients to make it? It has to be gin.
The underlying flavour has to be juniper.
So it's essentially just vodka with
juniper in.
Yes.
So go on.
So anyway, right.
So they've seized on this.
So I so basically on the gin thing, I just don't understand why everyone likes gin. It really.
It did come out of nowhere, didn't it, a couple of years ago?
I know, we saw it coming, we just didn't want to get involved in it.
Your local boozer's got a gin bar. You're like, Pat and Larry sat in the corner with these balloons with like blueberries and stuff.
I got mates of mine who are like bad hard cases, yeah, and they're like, should we get a gin and tonic? I'm like, no.
It's the balloons that get me. People think that
they get ever bigger.
You don't say I'm a balloon. Shit in here. You know what I mean? It's like, hang on.
I'm getting off.
I don't even know what one of them was. It's
like 6 oranges in.
Yeah. So anyway, what ended up happening was we were tasting all these things, and then tequilas were just getting better and better and better. And then I was like, I'd been to quite a few rum distilleries, and I was just like, this is defo jag. What they're doing to these rums is not real. Like, you know, you take some rums out of a barrel, and it doesn't taste like what's in the bottle. And we'd been to Jameson's early on when we opened the bar, and they literally were like, letting you open a barrel at Jameson's, like these like big sherry casks, and you're drinking it out the barrel, and it was like, oh, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So we knew whiskey was legit, yeah. But I was going to rum distilleries, and I was like, oh my god, this tastes like dust. This is horrible. And then so I kind of lost my love for rum, and then.
So what I don't understand. So what's the difference? It's something else happens after it's in the barrel.
All right, so
barrel-aged rum's a myth because it's...
Well, rums can be mixed and blended, and then when you speak to any rum master blender, which I know a couple, they say, oh, it's all the clever blending of this and that, like some really old rums and some not so old rums.
Right.
But they'll add caramel to it for colour consistency, right? And when you can add something like caramel to a product, you know, you can make it taste whatever you want. Because the caramel doesn't have to be just caramel. It can be caramel and then essence of toffee or essence of coffee, or fuck it, you can put coffee, you can put more sugar in it, you can do whatever you want. Really. It's the Wild West when it comes to rum. So I know someone out there is going to be like, he's full of shit, right? But right, who's going to beg to differ with them? You know what I mean? Who's going to start arguing the case? So anyway, with tequila's laws and rules around it are very stringent. You can add 1% of anything to a bottle of tequila, right? But that very does limit on what you can put in there. And usually, if they need to put caramel in tequila or they need to put some sort of colouring agent to stabilise it or whatever, then it limits it to 1%. And they can tell that very easily. So I started going to tequila distilleries and going to see the farmers and whatever else, and that was it. Sold. Just like, this is amazing. This product is absolutely fantastic. And I think every time you buy a bottle of tequila, you know, you're drinking a piece of culture, really. You know, it is just Mexican, like, it's...
So tequila's just more like honest for you as well?
Honest.
Yeah.
Like a mate of mine called Stefano used to work for a tequila called Calle 23, and me and a friend of mine, Danny Mack, were at the distillery, and he's Italian but lives in Guad, and he's like, hey guys, you want to try some tequila? And I was like, Stefano, why do you think I'm here? He's like, okay, follow me, like that. And he gets like this bottle, blank bottle, and just dunks it in the barrel, probably breaking loads of health codes and all that. Just dunks it in the barrel, right? He fills the bottle up and goes, here you go, like that. And me and Danny were like, yeah, went outside, I'm like just drinking this bottle of tequila, and it just tasted exactly like it did, like what you got in the bottle when you buy it at home. And we were just like, wow, amazing. And I was like,
the consistency of the product from there, to what you're getting in Bold Street or whatever, just completely the same.
Even the shit tequilas, like, not shit tequila, but you know, tequilas that aren't of a massively great quality or anything, it's still the same, pretty much. You know, I've tasted them all, you know, all different kinds of grade of tequila. And
you've done the top shelf on Sava when you were 18.
Oh, that's heavy, that, isn't it?
That was heavy, wasn't it?
That was.
But so go on, sorry.
So yeah, just, you know, you taste all the good and all the bad in Mexico and at home, and it's just more honest, and I like that about it.
Yeah,
and it makes nice drinks.
What took you out? Because I'm not saying you single-handedly did it, but you were part of the movement to extend the footprint of town to Castle Street, weren't you? Because Castle Street's really cool now, isn't it? It's a nice place to go.
You knew more than me because you wanted to get involved, didn't you? There.
Yeah, you mean the style of venue?
I guess I do, yeah. I mean, Maluco's.
Maluco, yeah.
That was a Starbucks, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, I don't like that. I can't stand Starbucks.
So I'm sure a lot of people will agree with you.
Well, I own Bold Street Coffee as well. We can't really be going into those establishments.
Which I'll add as the sixth best coffee shop in Britain.
I've got a massive...
It's immense, and it always has been immense. And I was gutted when it went away for a short time. And
well, you know, we brought it back for you, so you know.
Yeah.
And I did. It was never quite the same in Maluco's, but you just knew you were getting the same coffee, so it was kind of...
I won't even set foot in a Starbucks. I don't have a glass of water or anything in there.
Really?
No, it's weird.
And ironically,
that's why it was great taking that. But I'd said to John, I said, is someone taking that? Because it was up. I wonder what it was before. What was it just before that?
Starbucks.
Was it Florist?
No, Fish Stocks next door.
No, Starbucks, it was shut for a while because Starbucks have got one on Old Hall Street as well, which is only around the corner, haven't they?
Well, we know all about, like, there's franchise issues with Starbucks, so you can if you own a Starbucks, you can't own another one so far away, and
an individual can't.
Yeah, but there's one there, isn't
so
there?
So the guy that owned our one, he got the one next to John Lewis, so he couldn't own both at the same time.
Okay,
I think it was like that anyway. I got told that was the case. Might not be right, but I got told that. So we had abandoned that one on Castle Street, and then there was an issue about, selling the building as a whole. So for a while, it was empty. You know, it was empty. The brakes were put on it. I think a bookies tried to go in there, and that got axed. And then all of a sudden, we
the license was on the back of the bookie.
It came up because weirdly enough, when I said to John, I said that'd be a great bar over there. I had a conversation with some friends of ours. It turns out they'd already put an offer in for it, which was originally to be Maluco, their sort of ready-to pizzeria concept. So we kind of said, well, why don't we go in on it together, and we'll sort of bring the Santa's element and the drinks, and obviously then we can run it. And that's how it came about, the Santa Maluco merger.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yeah, so if you actually look at the bar, it's a replica of Santa's. It's the same shape and everything.
Yeah.
So that's how it means Saint of Crazy Men.
So what it means?
Yeah, it's like
Maluco means...
Maluco means crazy man.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like a bastardized version of two words. I don't think it actually means that,
So
but we'll tell you that's what it means.
Yeah.
So they kind of then bringing that. It was, you're right. There's not many independent style venues up there, or there wasn't.
But there is now.
There is now.
So once again, history's repeated itself.
Yeah,
because you've got I think McGuffey's had just closed not long before, and now McGuffey's is open again, but it's a little bit cooler. They're doing espresso martinis and stuff in there rather than just sort of old man's boozer. There's another one now as well. There's another one.
The Rumba.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's a Rumba.
There's
we were actually
called Dead Man's Cave or something as well.
Yeah, that's next.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
But we were looking for so the site next door, which is now Mowgli. We were actually actively looking for someone to take that site, like someone who was like of the like-minded as us to take that site. And I showed countless friends of ours around, like Lyndon, who owns Cane and Grain, and what was it, Lies Club and all that from Manchester. I showed him it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, mate, yeah, I'll take that." And they didn't, and I was like, "All right, Lyndon, sound." And then I showed my cousin who owns a few places in London. He's independent, and then he was like, he's saying, yeah, bruv, yeah, I'll take it. And then didn't take it. And then I met the guy from Moose Coffee, and he was like, yeah, I'll take it. Didn't take it. And I was like, fucking hell, what's going on with people? Take it. It's a brilliant site. I wish I could take it. And then next thing we know that Nisha had taken it from Mowgli, and I was like, well, you know what? At least she's still kind of independent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's lovely what she's done with that as well, because obviously you can't. Yeah, it is, but you obviously can't book a Bowl Street one. You can book that one, and she's catered to like that sort of end of town. All sort of the Victoria Street markets. If you go in there, it's a little bit older. You can book, and it's a beautiful building as well.
And then Cow closed, and then we else thought it was a boss idea to open a pizzeria over the road from another pizzeria where there was
Rudy's is there.
Yeah, 6 of the venues on that road selling pizza. We could even I didn't realise how many people sell pizza on there. So at the time when we opened up, you had Baccarao and San Carlo selling pizza. We thought, okay, we're nothing like either of them two venues, so we're gonna be fine.
There's enough difference, isn't there?
And then Gino's opens up, and Gino's doing pizzas, and then Oliver's doing pizzas, and then Rudy's doing pizza. And like, fucking hell, it's like Pizza Street, isn't it?
It goes back to what you're saying, like about the market. We wanted to be that we did cocktail and pizza, so you're authentic. You just did pizza, that's it. Where like we were getting people coming in, and one of them maybe didn't want a pizza. They just go next door or San Carlo. So that's something we've had to do recently by completely sort of rejigging the menu and adding things in that we, not to say didn't want to, but that we weren't going to do in the first place.
Just little sides and stuff.
Little sides, little add-ons. Obviously now we run Castle Street Coffee out of there as well, which is a big success.
Yeah. When that happens, then see like Rudy's opened across the road from Maluco. Like, do you think bring it on? We're better, or because obviously it's 2019, everything's been done. You just got to do it different or better, or do you think we're going to have to tweak it?
No, I think that's healthy competition. I think,
and
it's a good, it's a good operation. The pizzas are good. It's completely different.
I'm sure if you asked Darren Tilder, we had something else to say about it. He's like, cheeky bastards, go fuck smash the head in. And I was like,
has he got a piece of Santa's? Has he? Sorry, Santa Maluco. Because he's always in or around there.
But he was. I was like, nah, down at sound. Don't worry about it. And he was like, I think he was jesting at the time, like, but. That's like the usual reaction for someone, isn't it? He's just like, cheeky bastards. And I was like, well, it is a little bit like, it is a little bit cheeky, but, just we'll get on, do our thing, and they'll do theirs. And, they only sell pizza, and now we sell brunch and other things and all that. And, it's made us up our game. The venue's just had literally the busiest week it's ever had. Do you know what I mean? From obviously the Champions League and whatnot. But, it's no secret. We've had to look at our venue in a different light. It's not no longer just a pizzeria.
Yeah.
Got to sell brunch, sell more drinks.
It's all about the brunches, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you just looked at it and you thought, like, wow, why weren't we doing this from day one? But, obviously you don't. What we've figured out about businesses with restaurants and bars is that when you do it, no matter how many similar venues there are to it, no one's probably done it in that venue like that ever. So you're the first person to do it. right? So you don't know how the venue's going to operate, you don't know how it's going to flow, you don't know how people are going to receive it, you don't know any of these things, because you're the first one to do it in that venue, that way, that style, with your bank balance and whatever else that you're going to bring along with it. So you have to make a lot of mistakes. If you get lucky and make, you know, open the doors and it's booming, right, you will make mistakes. You won't see them because you've got the money to cope with it and whatnot, and you don't really think that it's an issue, which has happened to us as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's, so I suppose it's good to have some adversity early on if you're willing to stick at it and, you know, just persevere and get on with it. And, you know, someone else might have seen Rudy's open up and be like, oh no, we're ruined. And then we're just like that. Oh, well, you know, your pizza's different. It's mediocre at best. It used to be okay. And then, you know.
So you sound like you very much learn as you go. You're very self-aware. And you've never sort of sat back and rested on your laurels and gone, you know, we smashed it.
Fucking wish I had, though, if I'm being honest.
So say someone's listening to this now, someone's watching this, and they're thinking, I want to do that, I want to open my own bar. Like, what would you say to them?
Don't. I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding you. It's just, I wish we only still had one bar, if I'm being honest. I'd probably be less stressed.
It's a difficult one, though. Yeah. Do you know, like, I think the problem is with the industry, and I think TV's had a lot to blame for it, the celebrity chef kind of vibe and stuff that we were talking about before. I think Gordon Ramsay's programmes are maybe like 10 years ago and set people off, and I think loads of people, they have this attitude that, oh, I'm just going to open a restaurant. Yeah, I can do that. It's rife, and you're like, you know, and this is what happens when people come in as consultants, etc. and whatever, and people don't realise that if you are not living it and it's not your passion, it's not that, then it might work in some cases, but it won't work with the person at the forefront of it. And you can't, if you're not living or breathing it, I'd just say forget it, because you're just going to end up in a massive money pit where you don't know what you're doing, and then you will have to contract someone out, and then you cost them more money. So, but you know, it depends. You can learn if you want to learn as you go. Get your hands dirty, get involved with a few people that have started like that, and learn the trade. You know, good luck to you.
We've actually discussed this in the past, where like if people came to us now and said, "Hey, help me open a bar," we would do it. You know, just so you didn't waste your money. And obviously I'd charge them, and as long as they didn't conflict, as long as they didn't conflict with my own interest. If it was the right people, I'd be like, look, I don't want to see you burn your money. You know, I'll help you out. I'll do this, I'll do that. Make sure they go off on the right foot. You know, I definitely do that. But I don't even be doing that, right? Just because I don't really like seeing people do badly because they don't know any better. Because you get a lot of cowboys out there that'll take advantage of them. And we know a few of those guys, right? That'll just be like, yeah, I'll open your venue for you. And then 6 months later, fuck off.
50% mine, 50% yours type of thing, yeah.
Or just charge just extortionate consultancy fee, and then just not really bothered about the results because they're going to get paid.
I've actually heard them say to me, don't care, it's not my venue. I'm like, fucking hell, this guy's trusting you to do this for them.
You see, you can imagine a lot of money has been, in all big cities, but has been wasted and disappeared down black holes. You see bars that open and they've spent, and I know you guys are really big on fixtures and interiors, aren't you? And people have spent a lot of money. And then the bar will be open, and it's increasingly getting a shorter lifespan, isn't it? Yeah. If it just doesn't work for whatever reason, and then it's just gone. And somewhere along the line, someone's had a good intention there, haven't they?
Yes.
It's been a dream of theirs, or it's been something, you know.
Which is the sad thing.
It is sad. Or a lot of what happens now, which is, it's happened, say, with, and Rudy's is a good example. For example, they were an independent pizzeria. They're now owned by Mission Bars. Nisha, for example, there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, but they have big strategies where they start with one, and then suddenly
big VCs come in.
15 sites in there, want a site there, want a site there. It's something we've always shied away from, because you're suddenly out of control.
Yeah.
But with like some of these fit outs must cost, you know, approaching £1 million, and then you think, well, where's the thought process now gone into it? It's just become someone's dream.
It's exit strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an exit strategy for people, but the love's gone out of it, isn't it? Where it's just that, you know, money's getting put in places, you're getting told to open place here and there, things that cost $1 million. That's one thing that we've always tried to avoid, and I think you see that a lot, where people, big investment funds, and they just plough money into things, and it doesn't work. So
yeah, I've seen this in my own business. I've got a healthcare company, and when you do it organically, you know, and honestly, I think you'll always churn out better results, which is what you guys have done, rather than a sort of VC demanding a meeting with you once a month, you know, demanding, we're approaching, you know, Q3, you've only opened 3 other sites, we wanted 4 at this point and all that. You're not going to do it, honestly, are you? Because you're going to be thinking about, well, I've got to meet his needs, and I'm forgetting why I did this in the first place.
Some people make mistakes because we know chains that have opened up in cities and they've just picked the wrong spot, and they've picked the wrong spot because someone who does their location scouting, and it's their full-time job. And by the way, that is definitely full-time. Trying to find a site in London when we were doing Bandito, wow, every day I was on it, ringing him, going, I'm going to view this and to view that, and ringing agents and whatever else, sending across prospectuses. And you know, there's one company who like want to know your bank balance and all that. It's like,
what,
to get a viewing,
as if you're gonna like,
to get a viewing, you got to want to know you can afford to even.
Come on.
No.
Just to go and look at the property.
JLL, who
wanted
to know that we could actually afford and wasn't wasting the time, and I was like, alright, sound. But like, so you got people looking for sites all the time, and in Liverpool, it must just be easy for them to go, okay, we'll just get it in Liverpool 1, and Grove their own so many sites, and Grove can just go, oh, well, it's a good job you rang, we've got this opportunity, you can come and do this site, and you look at it and you go, I wouldn't fucking go in there for barge pole, because you live in Liverpool, so you know like what's good and what's not. And we've seen people take sites in Liverpool 1 and it just fail after a year, and like they're owned by like these big investment companies, and you know, it just folds. But then sometimes they fall for no reason, like Jamie's Italian, like, you know, because he stole the kids' techie Twizzlers, you know, they all fucking closed.
There's bigger factors at play when you've got a name like that attached to it.
I definitely think it's because he stole the kids' school dinners that end up being his clientele. You know, you steal all that stuff off them kids and they're going to be your future client base.
They'll get you back, you bastard.
Yeah. Like, how many young people do you know that go to James Italian? Do you know what I mean? You have all these old folk going in there going, oh yeah, been to Jamie's Italian. Oh yeah, did you see Jamie? Oh no, he wasn't in today. But you know, it's like,
people are seeing through that though, aren't they?
100%.
That's what you're saying, and what independents are coming back. And if you are rolling something out, you're kind of still making it look like it's got that independent edge, rather than like, you know. And I think that's
one thing which drew me to sort of your brand, if you like, is did you make a conscious decision not to do like all bars and restaurants that were the same name? Because it's not necessarily, it might be obvious to some people now because they follow you on Insta or they've been to 81 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Was that a conscious decision to make venues that
just kids in the sweet shop,
it wasn't obvious that they were linked?
We were just like,
really?
What do you want to do next?
Or was it like you've had your idea last time, now I want my idea, type of thing?
I think things just keep coming up, and then I think it's just organically grown like that.
You won't believe all the opportunities come, by the way.
It's mad. But by the way, we're not adverse to, we were quite far into talks to kind of roll El Bandito out in a long-term strategy to maybe like 10-15 sites, but and then that potentially would give us our own tequila and things like that.
That's the reason why we're going to do
it. It's all shelved now for because
of Brexit
and all
Brexit.
But the advantage
Brexit,
of us, the branch of
bloody B word.
Exactly. Advantage of us having those brands now is that if we, rather than saying to someone, no, they want a big piece of the whole pie, that we can say, well, let's just try it with that brand, and that we're still in fully control of what we're doing. So we're not completely adverse to it, but I think that would potentially be the next step. But then someone will ask you to do something, you go, I'm not doing anything more in Liverpool. Someone comes up with a food market idea, next thing you spent 2 years tearing your hair out trying to get a food market open.
And you said you were done.
I have said that, right? I've said about 4 or 5 times. I just look him in the face and I'm like, listen, Farrell, no more. No, I'm going to buy a house and, you know, or whatever. And you're like, yeah, I'm not doing fucking another thing. And then it's like a little knock on the door. It's like, hello, who's that? Oh, you've got the site here, mate. Do you want to, where is it? Oh, you'll never guess it. And you're like, fuck. And I'm on the phone going, oh, Matt, get off the site here. Or he rang me over something recently on off Old Hall Street, which can't tell you.
I was going to ask you about Old Hall Street, because that's got to be a natural next step.
I can't talk
about it, like.
But you'll end up there, I'm telling you right now.
I think the natural progression would be, I mean, like Salt Dog Slim, for example, we would like to put one in Manchester or something or another city.
Yeah.
So it would be to kind of pad them out a little bit, the brands, but, you know, not to the point where, like you say, you know, you're sitting down with the board and it's like, come on, you know, you said at the 8 sites by the end of the year, and like, you got to open in Nottingham, don't want to, don't care, you know what I mean, and that's what you got to watch.
Yeah, but I think what you're saying is, I think some cities deserve some of these brands, you know, London definitely deserves an El Bandito,
Yeah.
right? And when we did the pop-ups there, you could see, you know, you had like people so enthusiastic about it. And, you know, we even looked at like maybe doing a Salt Dog Slims down London or even in Manchester.
Yeah.
And, you know, come on, we all sat here. We know everyone's had a good time in Salt Dog Slims at some stage. You know, that would work in any city, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course it would.
Got
Yeah.
the Killers playing, beer flowing, you know, people doing shots of Jaeger.
Do you reckon you get all the Yamar graffiti in Manchester?
No.
Or would it be something else?
You get something else.
Your
wouldn't
mother
you?
or something? Or
Oh,
I think
man.
that's unique to the city. I think.
There's some funny graffiti in there, you know. There's a list of things John Ennis invented, and it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and like it's just like stupid stuff. Because I like when we first started having stuff, I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I invented that" as a joke, or sometimes serious. I can't remember. Like it'd be like, "Oh yeah, I invented that," and then all of a sudden it's just got to the point where it's like they're just like put like I invented like the stupidest crap. Like, and you're just like, all right, yeah, and there's a big list of it on there, and you're like, just
John invented
bigger.
Bongos Bingo. That was the recent
Oh
one.
yeah, there is. And John Ennis invented Camp and Fairness and stuff like that. It's like there was a piece of brilliant graffiti that I loved and I got painted over. It was John Ennis as the personality of white dog shit. And I fucking loved it, and it went. And I was like, I used to love that. And go, yeah, fucking.
Did you do that?
No, I didn't.
Was that inside job?
No.
White Dog's just gone now as well, isn't it? It was a 90s thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Don't
it's
see.
calcium from the bones the dogs are eating.
So in
There you go.
fancy
Duke Street Market then,
Wow.
What does Google make of it?
Didn't realise that.
are we going to see little things of yours, little projects of yours in Duke Street Market, or is it all about people you're working with? Are we,
I know, yeah.
any of your brands going to be a little bandito kiosk, little tequila kiosk?
The bars are ours.
Okay.
So the bars are
Yeah.
ours, and with Pork Chop Express now, the top floor that used to be where the prep was done and stuff, that's now like the GSG's drink lab. So we're getting to do a lot of things in there.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff to do with like flavour and how you like kind of, you know, get the most out of a product instead of wasting it. So, or like using seasonal products and being able to get it all year round. So I always use strawberries as an example. Everyone has like this concept of strawberries in their mind, don't they? And it's actually, when you taste a strawberry, it's actually quite a weakened version of what you think strawberry is, right? Because like you've tasted strawberry jam and you've tasted like strawberry ice cream and whatever else, and you know you're always striving for that flavour. But really, when you taste a strawberry on its own, it's not the heightened flavour that you're used to. So taking a strawberry, for example, and you're like, okay, how do I make this taste more like what that is, right? Well, for example, if you cook it and make it into jam, yeah, it then tastes like jam. It doesn't taste like strawberry anymore. It tastes like jam. So, you know, you got to try and figure out how you develop this flavour, and that's usually cooking at a very low temperature. And then you add a little bit of sugar, and then what kind of sugar do you add? So there's God knows how many different kind of carbohydrates you can add to it. It's finding the right mix. So fructose and sucrose, they're the primary ones that you're going to use, and then a little bit of malic acid, which is like the tartness in any kind of berry, and a bit of that, and hey presto, you got yourself a real strawberry tasting strawberry. You know what I mean? And try and get that into drinks. So you make the syrup, and you're like, yeah, this syrup's fucking brilliant. And you're like, how do I make this into drink? You're like, fucking God knows. And then you make, so in the lab you'd make a bunch of different things. Like you'd make strawberry flavoured ice, or you'd make a strawberry soda, or you'd make a strawberry mojito, or whatever
Strawberry
it
gin.
is. Strawberry gin, which is fucking dead easy. Oh yeah, strawberry. Oh, but yeah, strawberry gin, dead easy to make, because all you need is fucking vodka and juniper and a bit of strawberry. It's like, strawberry gin, get on that. Oh, they're gonna fucking love this, to get in a balloon, a bit of fruit. And so yeah, I mean, got a lot of interesting things we're doing in the lab, trying to like sustainability being a big key one. We developed like this replacement for lemons and limes recently, which is like doesn't go off, and it's like you think, oh my god, this is going to be a game changer, but we're slowly but surely adding it in to our brands and seeing if it works. And
it's the worst when you get like a Corona or something and they get a lime out the fridge in a glass. It's like all dried up. I wanted a real lime.
Well, yeah,
one that's alive.
Yeah. So
Come
and that
on.
little brownness on a lime.
Yeah.
I found out when like we did a lot of research into a lot of these things, but like, so when you juice so one thing you'll know about Santa's is like when you go in there and a drink contains lime, you'll see them whack out that Mexican elbow, and then half a lime goes in there, and then they squeeze in the drink, and then that lime shell probably ends up in your drink. Well, that was like an unheard of thing. Like 10 years ago, no one really did that. And like that's probably one of the things that was on the John Esser's list of things he invented. But but what happens is the reason why we did it was because if you juice a lime, after about 30 minutes to maybe an hour, it takes on this different flavour. It's like more powdery taste. But after like 16 hours or something like that, it's like it takes on this whole different kind of really tart but very dry, not sweet. It hasn't got that like you're not really tingling mouthfeel anymore. Yeah. It's just sour. So from 16 hours up to like 2 weeks, yeah, that flavour doesn't change. You can leave it out on the side, yeah, it won't change. That structure of that acid that's in it doesn't change until it starts to rot. So we were like, fucking hell, that goes in people's drinks defo all the time. And we didn't want to do that in our drinks, so we didn't. That's why we would juice lemons and limes to order. But come on, that's like such a massive labour doing that. And we were like, how would you get around that? And then we were like, okay, so started researching into what makes a lemon, what makes a lime, and then before you know it, you go to the lab, you mix a few powders, you get some oils and whatever else, and you're like, hey presto, you've got this thing that is amazing. It's as fresh as it can possibly be. You've literally taken the chemical structure of what a lemon or a lime is, you've recreated it, and it doesn't have any of the funky elements that can go off, like the actual the fibres or anything like that can actually start to ferment and whatever else. It's just the pure citrus that you want anyway, and
amazing.
You go boom.
Can we copyright this? Bit of intellectual property rights?
We're on that route already.
He invented it, mate.
We're on that route already.
So yeah, there'll be some interesting drinks in the market anyway.
That's good. Yeah. So when's it happening? You're a bit behind now, I believe.
Bring it up again.
So the Pilgrim actually opens on Friday.
Okay.
It has to, because we asked, would it be ready? And it's like, yeah, it's going to be ready. It's like, right, you do realise when Pilgrim put this out, they're going to be fully booked, which they were, like 24 hours. So they can't really tell everyone so that it's not open. So the market isn't open, but they're still going ahead on soft launch. But it's a 50% soft launch thing, so people get to see a sneak peek of the market while it's closed and getting...
That'll be quite cool.
What kind of people?
And then
all sorts of people.
I couldn't tell you. I know you're hitting for an invite. You don't want to go in.
Yeah, so next week is the opening, I think, and then
have you got vegan food in there?
Yes. We have, yeah.
Hey, David.
Yeah, we actually did the vegan food tasting today with Patty from Indigo Greens, and she was, she's like, she's very conscious that people have the stigma attached to vegan food, but we chose them out of all the applicants that we had because one, the Scousers, and two, it was really enthusiastic how they were presenting their food and whatnot. And you know what, it does taste really good. She gave me some bread today, and I was like, it looks like bread, and I was like, is that vegan? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, but it looks like bread. And she goes, yeah. And I was like, so I start thinking back to like me in the lab, and I'm like, hang on, yeah, you definitely can recreate an egg. It's just fats and protein. And I was like, obviously then people can make vegan bread that just tastes like normal bread. You're like, the bread was boss. And then I was like,
have you been? They got a place on Queen's Drive.
I've seen it, but no.
Yeah, no. It's worth going. It's good.
Yeah,
and they're good people. So I think. Has he been? No.
David, have you been to Indigo Greens on the drive?
No.
For all your vegan produce? No. We're doing ads already. Hey, bring it on.
There's a little. Do you know? There's a little bit of
promo code Greg20.
Yeah, there's a good mix. So how we've picked it, we think because you're creating a menu for a bigger building, so to speak. So that is the restaurant. So the demographics wide, the people's perspective of what they want. So I think we've, touch wood. I think.
And some good wines.
Oh fucking Jesus! That was difficult.
Was it?
There's a good selection. Quite a good few organic, natural. So we're using a couple of different people for that.
See, I profess not to know very much about wine. I mean, I do, because I'd say I'm a drinks expert, except I don't drink wine. So therefore, when I get told, oh, you got to do a wine list, I'm like, well, do you like wine? They go, yeah. And I go, well, you do the wine list because you'll enjoy it more than me.
Yeah.
And then you start like seeing stuff and you're like, how much does that cost? And you're like telling you, and you're like, well, that means you have to sell it for £10 a glass. No, you haven't. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking are. It's like, otherwise, you know, you're not going to make any money on it. You're actually going to cost you money. So then I end up getting involved in organising all these wine tastings, and I don't fucking drink wine, so I'm there going like, you know, knowing what's good and what's bad. I do know that, and I can tell you a lot about wine and how it's made and whatever, but I don't enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not fair for me to decide what other people should be drinking. So then we have to get loads of people involved that are involved in the market to then go to all these wine suppliers and whatever else, and you know, big refresher course in what wine is these days. So these natural wines and all that, orange wines.
You've got to be careful though. So because there's a massive amount of people going to be going in there, you still need a sort of structured supply where you know the quality, what you're drinking in front of you. Where the natural wines, they're still not regulated. So
they're not.
So a lot of them batches can taste completely different from the other and stuff like that.
Some of them are nasty, by the way.
But yeah, some of them
they
can smell. Yeah,
and the bad.
There's a place I went to recently in Liverpool, not far from Salt Dogs,
which shall remain nameless.
And I don't know anything. I like wine, but I don't know a great deal about it. And I think they only do natural wines. And I ordered one, and just me being me, thinking, well, I want the best quality, so I picked the most expensive one, and it was like drinking balsamic. A shit balsamic,
this
by the way.
The contentious issue with it. So there is some really good ones, but it isn't regulated, and it's not. People can produce that, and the nose on some of them is really, it can be, let's say, strange.
And the continuity can't be controlled as well, which is my problem with it. When I'm looking at it and like I'm being told, and I'm just like, well, this wine that you might buy today might taste different in 2 months down the line. Yeah. And then, you know, one of the partners involved in Duke Street Market, he's almost fanatical about wine. He obviously enjoys it, knows an awful lot about it, so I trust him when he's telling me these things. But, you know, then I'm hearing about the continuity, about, you know, it's just not going to be the same. And I know for a fact guests are going to be like moaning because they'll come back and be like, I had this wine last month and it tastes nothing like this is dog shit. Swill the bartender and be like, you poisoned me or whatever, you know.
Yeah, you will get that sort of.
And you will get it.
A bit arse, that.
Maybe that's what the bartender.
You're gonna harshly
about wine drinkers, what wine drinkers are like.
You're gonna harshly wear the TripAdvisor review. That's what you'll get.
Sassy review.
Fucking up, we don't. TripAdvisor's fucking shit. It's awful.
There's going to be a good range. There's going to be a lot to suit everyone's taste.
There's a lot of wine though. I'll get to you that.
There's a lot there, but the front kiosk is a coffee, pastries type place where it's also a wine kiosk as well.
And we'll give it a go, won't we?
So is it going to be just open weekends? It's going to be 7 days or
5 days?
5 days.
Wednesday to Sunday. At the moment.
Okay.
And then see how that gets on, isn't it?
Hopefully, well, definitely. It'd be great to open 6, 7 with a venue that size and all the variables of different businesses. Usually Mondays you close, but we have to see.
Have we stopped you choking someone out, by the way?
Don't worry, the class started 15 minutes ago, so...
So in that case, tell me what your beef with TripAdvisor. Sorry. Firstly, sorry for ruining your jiu-jitsu plans. Secondly, you're not a fan of TripAdvisor, no?
Right, so I use TripAdvisor, right, in the correct sense. So if I go somewhere, you know, I'll leave honest reviews for other tourists, because it's a tourist app. It's not like an app for people who live in that city or anything like that. It's a tourist app. So I'll like, you know, if you go, I've got all these stupid badges you get for awarding them. I've got loads.
It's like it's the game, the levels that you brought.
Yeah, it is. It's weird, and you know, you get certain badges for doing whatever. If you find me on TripAdvisor, you'll see I've got loads of these badges and like a trusted person who does reviews. So what happens is, right, one disgruntled person, right, can go on there and ruin a reputation with literally one post, right? Yeah. And they can say whatever they want, and it can be malicious. It can be the fact that they didn't like how you looked. It could have some underlying issue, like, you know,
it could be a personal
issue. It could be lies. It could be anything, and you can try and dress as much as you want, right? with TripAdvisor, they don't care. They just go, not my problem. It looks genuine to me. You know, I've had TripAdvisor reviews on some of our sites where the person hasn't even been in the venue, right? They just couldn't book a table, right? And they just went on and went, I couldn't book a table, been trying here for so-and-so. They obviously don't care. The service here is absolutely disgraceful.
It's bad, damn it.
People.
And you're just like,
this is what happens. This is the thing with the internet. You give people... Idiots have a voice now, and there's no filter for them.
No.
The guy who's got the burnt truffle, Gary Usher's quite vocal about TripAdvisor, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know. Sometimes you get. I mean, we know Gary. Like, I just don't know. Sometimes that goes too far the other way as well. Do you know what I mean? And laying into people, and it's. I don't know.
Where he screenshot it and will character assassinate them.
Part
type
of his
thing.
thing as well, isn't it? It's not for me.
He's built a bit of a brand on that.
Believe you me, there's many a time when I've done like a strongly worded response and then got to the end of it and just went, delete that, fucking hell. I'll kill you if I do that.
You always got to sleep on it, haven't you?
Once you've done it, once it's there, isn't it?
What have I done? I've done something, haven't I? And then you rang me up and went like, lad, what have you done?
It's just a big, massive game. And then you get people open and it's like, right, we need 50 TripAdvisor views put through everyone's mates. And that's why you see these random places popping up and you're like,
it's quite clear.
Hang on, was it Shiraz Burger on Arden Street?
But you know it's a game. Then when you go on holiday, you use it. You do use it.
Imagine a tourist comes to Liverpool going, they do flame grilled chicken. Hey, do you want to go to Shiraz on Harman Street? And then they get there and like, what the fuck is this?
Straight off the ferry. Right, we've got to find Shiraz.
Nabsies is probably on there, I'm telling you now.
Best fried chicken Liverpool.
Scary.
We didn't even say about the arcades. The arcade, right, it's got a name. It's called 16-bit chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've got Brandon and everything, and the Brandon's really cool. It's all like arcade related. But yeah, we'll kick Nabsy's ass, guaranteed. Like.
And when are you looking at that then?
Fucking whenever I get time.
At some point. Get back to you.
Do you know what? It's like
2019 or...
Yeah. So we've got a handyman. And he's part of the company, and it's like whenever he gets like a couple of days, we send him in there to do some bits because it's already a fully functional site. And then we were like self-funding it, just whenever we get a bit of cash, putting it a bit in. And the tax man doesn't, I mean actual money in the bank, not like mattress money or anything. Because someone from the VAT office is definitely going to put it at some stage. So anyway, we were like, how are we going to fund this? And then we were like, you know what? Loads of staff have asked, should we offer the staff an opportunity to buy in?
Okay.
At first,
like a cooperative type thing, yeah.
Yeah, and because a lot of the staff, have grown up with us. Like we've got lads that worked for like 10 years, right?
Really?
Yeah, loads of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of loyalty.
That's
there.
cool.
Yeah, and
you started at 07 or 8, not 9.
10
years ago. But like some lads have worked for us since that year, and are still there now. So, when you say to them, do you want to buy in? And they're like, I haven't got loads of money. And you go, well, just look, you can buy 1% for $1,000 or whatever like that. And like, and they're like, oh yeah, I'd do that. And, the idea being is that you want them to learn because, if it's yours and you earn a little bit piece of it, like even if they only earn £100 a month from it, fucking hell, that's loads of money for, just buying into a small thing. But then, no staff have got any money, so there's only a few staff that are in it now. So it's like we're still looking at how we're going to finish this job because we've obviously got all the other jobs on the go. So we're still not sure what we're going to do about that. Yeah, we thought about Crowd Cube.
Crowdfunding.
No, but but it wouldn't be for like prizes. Do you know, like some people like get £10, get a wooden spoon or whatever.
Yeah, or you get like a plaque with your name or a bench named after.
Yeah. So the Crowd Cube is more, it's actual equity. So you would go like, we want this for that equity, basically.
Right. Okay.
So that's the only way we do it. I don't think
not naming cocktails after people or whatever.
No. Well, in Bolshevik Coffee, when we rescued Bolshevik Coffee, we said to the two previous owners, we'd give you shares in the company, but we want you to do a Kickstarter to raise your capital to buy back in.
Remember? Yeah.
And they did that, but when they did it, it was like genuinely
for help, like
So that they needed the help because I was like, look, I'm not doing this without you guys involved. I don't want to be the guy that owns Bolshevik Coffee and ruined it. There's no point in me out. There's no point.
Don't want to be that guy. Don't
want to be that guy. So said, if you're not involved in this, then we're out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I said, like, obviously you need to put something into it because it's going to need to fucking open.
Yeah.
And I can't just give you shares. So they did that. And their one was all, like, their Kickstarter was all like, you know, buying, you know, a year's worth of coffee for like, you know, a few £100 or buy 10 coffees for £20 or whatever, and you know, it's just snowballed with enthusiasm. And I actually think they probably undersold themselves because people were really willing to help, but you'd get, you know, a guy buy a coffee voucher for £5 and oh, I've done my bit, but that guy was probably willing to put in £100 or £200 or whatever it was, but you know, you only asked for £5. And I think that's the problem with these things, because people do want to help and actually have an interested, you know, investment in the venue, but like, you know, does that manifest itself correctly with them paying £5 for Kickstarter? No. What matters them out there is if someone really wants to be a part of like the Graffiti Spirits Group thing and they want to buy into a little bit of it and come to P&L meetings and
learn from you guys,
learn from us guys, I suppose that's a really good opportunity, because
I'll say
they say that, but like, you know, we've got investors and stuff that have came into little projects and they don't go to the meetings. They're just, you know, they're just happy that they own something or whatever.
Right.
But if you do want to be involved in that business, it's like a real good mindset to go into it and be like, right, so how does a venue make money? And they look at it and go, fuck, really? I have to do all that? And you're like, yeah, so yeah, VAT is a real thing, and corporation tax will come and, you know, threaten to take your possessions and if you don't pay it, and yeah, you will have to, you know, do your own tax return, you know. Oh, what do you mean do my own tax return? Oh, wait, so you're going to have to go and find an accountant. Yeah. You know, all these things that like people don't know, like we didn't know when we got involved in the business. The first time we got a VAT bill, I was like, what, Matt, what do we do? It was like, shit, well, we used to just have money sat in the bank, right? Like we think it was our money, but it wasn't. It was just, we hadn't paid the VAT, and you were like, okay, so that's where that money goes to.
You empathise there.
Yeah. Well, no, healthcare is thankfully VAT exempt.
Fuck, you lucky fucker.
And we're only new, so we haven't. Corporation tax hasn't knocked on my door just yet. So, but it will. But it will.
That's what we need to be involved in.
Healthcare, get into healthcare, mate. Yeah.
Hey, so there's no VAT on cold sandwiches and iced coffees. We found out recently.
Oh well.
Yeah. So yeah, look out for a concept of cold butties and and iced lattes.
Good old Hall Street.
Yeah, old Hall Street. There you go. Boom.
But that was what the pasty gate was all the same thing, wasn't it? Yeah. Like, you sell a cold pasty, it's VAT exempt or whatever, and
that's why that's why when you like Pret or whatever. Not that I go into these places, but they actually don't know if you're gonna eat it in or out. Because if you eat it in or out, it depends.
Is that why? Is that why?
Yeah.
Hang on, right?
There's VAT exempt, one isn't.
So there's another thing to do for it as well, right? So Starbucks, or if you notice when you go to Starbucks, everything in Starbucks is actually packaged apart from coffee, right?
Right.
It's all packaged, right? So because of that, I think it's classed as a retail, right? So you're going in and buying retail rather than buying something that's made.
Freshly prepared on the site on the day.
So if you have it warmed up and eat it in, there's a certain price, and if you take it away, there's another price. So if you eat it in, you get charged this price, which has obviously got the VAT involved in it and whatnot. But because of that, there's different planning, there's different licensing, there's different business rates. Business rates, by the way, fucking what is that? The fuck? That's bad. Especially if you're a bar. That is fucking next level shit, that.
Really?
Oh.
Do they increase as much as quickly as popularity increases? So the way Bold Street's come on, say what, 7-8 years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe less.
He knows more about it than me. But all I know is that recently one of our rates went down because of Brexit.
Oh?
I wasn't on the inside of any bus, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't.
Your rates will go down if you vote to leave, but, I still vote to stay anyway.
The worst managed organisation I've ever had to deal with. So it's the VOA who set it, and they just set random things for certain venues. We have Salt Dogs has a massive business rates bill, which has causes problems for years, which we're still battling now, years on. And just someone set it one day, just visit the venue.
Arbitrarily just decided.
Yeah, and just set it. And then to get hold of them after that is, you can't do it. You got to go through appeal, which takes 2 years. You speak to the council, we just collect the debt and all this. So you come into to the point where it's crackers, and it must have shut so many people down. But then some of them, there's no kind of what's the word? There's no cohesion to it. Yeah. So some of them are, if it was all hard line, you'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? But then everyone would kick off but some of them on some venues are low. So, and then some are just really high, and it's crazy.
And
but
then some can be like so. What's the hotel guy called? Ken Wright.
Yeah,
That's him.
Lawrence
I believe that when he takes on and redevelops buildings, he'll be business rate exempt for X amount of time. Which, believe it or not, is really fucking smart, because you look at it and go like, some of the venues that he takes must be like, the business rates for them must be fucking hundreds of grand, and it kind of makes it profitable because he's not paying them for X amount of time. Which, by right, if I'm being honest, you know what, he deserves to be business rate exempt if he's developed a building that was currently not used for anything. And I think I'm right on that, by the way. Don't quote me, but I think that's what happens.
No wonder he's getting hold of practically every empty building in the city.
Yeah.
So.
But if you're a public house, they put you as a public house, they do your own turnover, not be profits, just turnover, whatever it takes, they take percentage of that. But if you're a nightclub, so you're on square footage. So if you you can get like your small nightclub, which I think Blue Angel, for example, they pay a next to nothing rate because it's put as a nightclub.
Yeah. And that's over the road.
And that's over the road. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
so that's on it. It's fair play. But for some reason, I wouldn't say Saltdogs is a pub. Do you know what I mean? But you put into that bracket.
Yeah, you guys have been there. Is it a pub?
No.
It's not.
There you go.
No.
No, it's not.
It's a saloon. That's correct.
I don't know what the rates are for that, but it's absolute piss take.
I'd say it's more like a nightclub because people go in there and they fucking dance the tits off.
But I don't know how you prove it's a nightclub.
Yeah, it's definitely not a pub. I mean, you wouldn't, apart from a Sunday, you might go in the afternoon, but you wouldn't really go in there in the afternoon, would you? Or even the evening.
Yeah, it's a bar. But then they haven't got one for that. So you're just a public house.
So are you a public house or you work a nightclub? Well, we're more of a nightclub than we are a public house.
Neither. Strictly, I get it.
It's terrible, It's the fucking words.
What about the TV thing? Now you've gone prime time, Matt. You know what I mean? Hey, is this the next step? We're talking about like celebrity
Oh, you
chefs.
mean the show?
Yeah,
oh, right.
Yeah.
But I didn't go on.
How
did that come out?
We got approached that because I think the first
2 different angles, wasn't it?
Yeah. So have you watched it?
Yeah.
So the first series is a little bit more
different,
corporate.
wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think they were trying to get. If you open the second series, there's like someone on the investment panel who's kind of not a suit, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think they were and they didn't really have anyone outside of London sort of promoting, the north of England or whatever and stuff like that. So they were looking around and we got approached by them, and then so we were part of actually the selection process as well of them
casting all the
on there and stuff.
Yeah, brilliant.
And all the time I'm looking at going like all these CVs with the casting director, and I'm going like looking at all these ones we can invest in, and I'm like going like in my head going, yeah, get these in the market, get these in the market.
Brilliant, yeah.
So
free.
They didn't know that, by the way. They thought they were actually literally going in there to invest in like a restaurant, but they said like you can do whatever you want, and she actually asked me to advise some people that had been on the first season and got investment and then it fell through. So what the kid from Trap Kitchen ended up calling him up, and I said to him like, look, I believe you're having some issues and whatever else, and I talked them through a few things, and I hope it helped them out. I think it has. Someone told me that he's now not focused on doing a restaurant, he's more doing like a food truck or something.
Right.
But someone told me that recently. I don't know if that's true or not, but
that's the next one, food trucks, isn't it?
Oh, I'd love to own a food truck, but it's not going to happen.
Oh, you had one, didn't you? Wasn't there? Was there a Salt Dogs food truck? Slim's.
No, we've got a Salt Dogs van. Yeah. Fucking hell, which is like that beast.
Yeah, because you were outside Craft Minded for a bit as well, weren't you? With the big smoker there.
Fun. But yeah, what were we talking about?
The TV, because it must be a good, not that you particularly crave or chase publicity, but it's nice when it comes, I guess.
I think Matt's like being on TV.
No,
have you got an agent, Matt?
No.
He probably has. He's got a website.
I started doing a bit of, because I was doing a bit of stuff for Mad, and so started doing a few like acting courses and that, and then did like a acting for camera course.
Yeah.
2 years ago, you asked me to do that, wouldn't have done it. I'd be like, no chance, like. But then after doing that, and then we got approached, I said, I'll do it, and I thought.
I can see them looking at me in the
good.
office though.
Do you know what I mean? I think I'm glad to want to go down that route with some of it, so to maybe do a little bit more media.
Yeah.
So I've got like a website for my writing. I do travel writing and stuff like that. Yeah. I was actually going to look at doing a podcast if I got time, but you need time, as you probably know.
Yeah. But come back on ours, mate. You're always welcome.
Yeah. So
always.
It just so developed from there, but the experience of it Once you realise, at first it was a bit nerve-wracking. You get into London and it's just like, car picks you up, setting right, you're in here, and it's like straight BBC Two prime time, and you're like, fuck hell.
Yeah.
So, but once you get to know the crew, and then I went back to Manchester. There's a couple of days filming there. Everyone was just so easy to talk to and stuff like that, and it was just a good experience. I think. I don't think. Luckily, the whole story went pretty well. That we got out of it.
Yeah. And it's just good to hear Scout's voice in those sort of like.
Yeah. I'm just glad it weren't me on TV. I'd have been like. I think they were sussing out because I must have said the word cunt in the interview. God knows how many times. So it's like, he can't go on TV.
Yeah. But they don't. I think what I'd like to, I wouldn't mind doing a sort of documentary thing where you looked at northern cities and independence and stuff. That actually how they do shape the culture of the cities and things like that. So I think down the line I'd like to do that if I get time. But I think it's interesting because it doesn't get the media coverage that it deserves, a lot of it. Anything sort of outside M25 circle, you don't get it.
But definitely, you've got a great point there. We're definitely a northern voice is 100% underrepresented on TV and everything. So yeah, it's welcoming,
especially when you hear Scout's voice as well.
I
mean, it's obviously getting better, but on the prime time,
it's
on
not
the
a squeaky
BBC.
one like Carragher's,
yeah.
But he's managed.
He has.
Fine,
smashed it, by the way.
Doing
This is
well.
coming from a blue. I didn't like him and Gary Neville when they were players at all, but I love watching them as pundits, so much so that I'll watch Monday Night Football just for the talking, and then we'll turn off
the
the game.
To the woman on the pitch and they start walking.
Yeah,
off.
they start walking. And she got a revenge on them the following week.
Yeah, she did
to them. Yeah. Right, guys. Well, thanks very much for coming on. And
how long have we been here for, by the way?
A long time. Yeah.
It's Thursday morning. Everyone's got jobs to go to.
John's itching to choke someone out there, so I thought we were
I'll be getting moaned out the next time we
become victims.
He's like, you said you'd come on Wednesday, and I'm like, oh no.
It's been a pleasure, lads. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great, and we look
it.
forward to seeing what Duke Street's got to offer, and you'll have to come back on soon and chat about it.
So,
cool.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Nice one.